The 2.6 live stream just wrapped up, and honestly, I think it is safe to say that this is one of the stronger versions we've seen in Renascita. There's a lot going on, a lot being added to the game, and normally this is the part where I'd break everything down piece by piece. The highs, the lows, all of it. And I'll still touch on that, but this time I want to also focus on the community reaction, because if you've noticed, the way people are responding to this live stream feels different. It's subtle, not over the top, but it's definitely there. And when I talk through the highlights and the low points, I'll also dig into that shift in community vibe. So if you're into this kind of breakdown, don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts. Did this live stream blow you away? Did it fall flat, or was it somewhere in between? I'd love to hear what you think. And of course, subscribe in the notification bell to notified on any of my future videos. Alright, let's get into it. Now, like most live streams, this one is split into three main parts. First, we got the story and the characters, basically the backbone of this version, with all the new narrative beats, environments, and introductions. Second, the events. Those limited time activities will be playing throughout the lifespan of this patch. And third, the quality of life changes, which covers the tweaks and updates that makes the game feel smoother, not just for this version, but for future ones too. And that's how I'm going to break it all down here as well. We'll look at each section one by one, go over the strengths and weaknesses, and most importantly, see how the community is reacting to each part. So let's start with the story, the characters, and the new environments. Version 2.6 is taking us straight to a new environment called the Sanguis Plateau. And by now, I think we've all come to expect that every new location Wuthering Waves introduces is going to look phenomenal. The artistry, the atmosphere, it's always breathtaking. But there's something I've started to notice about these environments. I realized it with Reguna, with Septimons, and most recently, even the Fabricatorium. The pattern is this. Once you finish the main story quest, opened all of the chests, and collected the treasures, there is really no reason to go back. The environments are gorgeous, but once they've been used up, they don't invite you to return, and that's a shame, because places like the Fabricatorium were genuinely stunning. So going into the Sanguis Plateau, I'm honestly at the point where I don't expect much in terms of content or replay value from any new environment Wuthering Waves gives us. And I think that's one of the game's few low points. The plateau is gorgeous, stunning really, but I would bet that the actual things to do there are almost non-existent. Like every other environment we have passed through, I imagine that once you soak in the beauty of this new environment, it will start to feel boring. And I really hope that this is something that Wuthering Waves is looking into going forward, because these environments are way too beautiful to just be left alone after exploring once. Now, shifting to the characters, Augusta and Yuno, I have nothing but praise. These two have been hyped up for weeks, honestly months, and the expectations on them were huge, and it looks like they will deliver. Their animations are fluid, their ultimates are jaw-dropping, everything about their design feels top tier. You can already tell that these are the kinds of characters players are going to pull for the second their banners go live. But the real highlight of this section of the livestream is the story. We're finally getting Augusta and Yuno's story, a storyline that fans have been waiting on for months. You see, the interlude quest we just played gave us a small glimpse of what is coming, and now it's time to dive into the full arc. The Sanguis Plateau itself isn't just a beautiful setting, it's where Septimonian warriors go to confront the Dark Tide head-on. And from the interlude quest leading into this quest, there's been this thin but constant sense of danger. The feeling that things might not end well, that something truly bad is looming over us. And that's exactly what the game seems to be hinting at. And this is where it gets really fun, because the community reaction to this story has been fascinating to watch. For the first time, I'm noticing two big sentiments that both I and the community share. The first one is this: we may actually lose, and that is wild, because the idea of losing isn't even on the table in most gacha games. Whether it's Genshin, Wuthering Waves, Honkai, Zenless Zone Zero, whatever you name, the community never seriously considers the possibility of failure. But in Wuwa, the Failover story shifted that perspective. For some players, it genuinely felt like a loss. It didn't end in the clean, satisfying way they expected, and yet, that's what made it powerful. Now, with everything Kuro is hinting at in this new version, people are starting to look at the story and saying, wait, what if we don't win this time? What if things actually don't go our way? And that is such an interesting shift. Normally, when a game teases the idea of defeat, we dismiss it as narrative fluff, but here, for the first time, people are actually taking it seriously. And that's a huge change in how the community sees Wuthering Waves storytelling. The second big sentiment in the community right now is that a major character might actually die in this patch, and honestly, that's not as shocking as it might sound. The Failover quest showed us that Wuthering Waves isn't afraid to push that boundary. Now, I know Failover isn't exactly dead, but she is not alive either, and that gray space proved that the writers are willing to take risks most gacha games avoid. So with this constant feeling that we might actually lose this battle, it makes sense that players are also bracing for the possibility that someone important, someone central to the story, might not make it out. And I think the fact that these two sentiments, fear of losing and fear of death, are even being seriously discussed just show the strength of the writing. These are emotions we almost almost never attached to gacha games, yet here we are feeling them intensely. I mean, yes, the story itself will be exciting, but what I'm most interested in seeing right now is how Wuthering Waves delivers on these teases. Because sticking the landing matters. A story can feel peak all the way through, but if the ending doesn't land, it colors everything that came before. That's why this patch feels so important, not just for Augusta's arc, but for how we'll come to see Renascita as a region. Now, moving into the event, this is the weakest part of the entire livestream. The last time we got a truly exciting combat-focused event was back in 2.4. And yeah, 2.5 gave us Dreaming Deep, but let's be real, that's one of the worst events in the whole game, so most players don't even count it. But ever since 2.4, it felt like the event quality has been slipping, and unfortunately, 2.6 continues that trend. The standout event this time is basically taking inspiration from Theater Mechanicus and Genshin Impact, where you place roadblocks and mechanics to stop enemies from reaching a certain point. And if that is the most exciting event of the version, I think that says a lot about the state of events right now. And I know it's not just me, the community sentiment has been the same since 2.5. Now, to be fair, Wuthering Waves is at least giving us solid free rewards and also working on some of the critical endgame content this version. The TOA, Whimpering Waste, and weekly events are all being updated in 2.6, which should add a bit more variety. But with their track record when it comes to fixing endgames, I honestly can't say yet if this will turn out a good thing or a bad thing. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays in-game. That still doesn't make up for the lack of excitement overall, but it's something. Still, as far as the livestream goes, the events are definitely the lowest points of version 2.6. Now let's talk about the highest and most important section of this entire version: the quality of life changes. And before I even get into the specifics, I want to stress something. The way Wuthering Waves is handling quality of life isn't just impressive, it should be the standard. This should be the bare minimum that every gacha game should be aiming for. The problem is, we've been given so little by other gacha games for so long that when Wuthering Waves actually delivers, the excitement shoots through the roof. And yes, it is awesome. But more than that, it is a call to action. If you are a Wuthering Waves player and you want to enjoy any other gacha game the way you enjoy this one, this is the baseline you should demand. Because the way Kuro listens, understands, and responds to player feedback, that should be the expectation across the industry. Because when it comes to quality of life, Wuthering Waves just did something that honestly, a lot of us in the gacha space, including me, never really believed they'd pull off. I hoped for it, sure, but I never truly believed it would happen, and that is the addition of flight features in previous regions. This is something that both players and content creators have been asking for since the very beginning of Renascita. The community has been vocal about this for ages, and now, finally, Kuro answered. Starting in version 2.6, flight mode will be available in Hongjiang and the Black Shores. And not just that, map navigation in these regions is being made easier, loot finders are being expanded, and chest hunting will no longer feel like a painful grind. So for anyone farming astrites or searching for treasures in these areas, the game is basically saying, we've got you covered. And to me, this is one of the biggest quality of life changes Wuthering Waves could have added right now. It's something we've been asking for forever, and seeing it finally arrive is phenomenal. I'm genuinely excited to experience this going forward. And as if that wasn't enough, Wuthering Waves ended the livestream with a tease for version 2.7. And it looks like it'll be heavily focused on Cartothea, the Thenodian, and a brand new character named Galbarina. Absolutely awesome stuff. And with that, the livestream wrapped up. Now, personally, I think this was one of the best live streams we've had in all of Renascita. Easily top 3 for me, right behind 2.0 and 2.4. Between the huge quality of life changes and the focus on one of the region's most important storylines, this version really feels special, so I'm hyped going into 2.6. But how about you? Did you love the live stream? Did you hate it? What did you think of each section? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.